And you want to know what the hilarious thing is, Anubis? I forgot to
What's that?
record. So
Professional podcaster.
Professional
Let's go.
podcaster. Let's fucking
Let's
go.
go.
Introductions here again.
Forgot to press the record button.
Exactly. Forgot to press the record button here for the restart of the DAICON Podcast, a podcast that's 18 plus dedicated to all things the anime and video game industries, the fandom, and more. With your host, the Geeky Panda, myself, and co-host, Time Enforcer Nubis right here.
Yes, sir.
So, first and foremost, I decided to turn off the music because I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Dude, how you been, man?
Pretty good. I just got my, and I know you did. We just got our confirmation for Retro World Expo.
Yeah, which I am really, really excited for. We got our booth.
Yeah.
We got our booth confirmation. For those who don't know,
Yeah.
Retro World Expo is a retro gaming convention. A lot of people go there to check out, to buy a lot of retro games, as well as play games and check out some panels and stuff. And we can confirm that we both submitted applications for booths, and we both got accepted. So, which I'll be streaming live from there, playing fucking Armored Core multiplayer. Because yeah, worst timing to release Armored Core, but fuck it, I'm gonna stream it live from the convention center, multiplayer. But I'm not even touching the campaign. No, I don't want to spoil myself. It's all multiplayer. That's fucking it. But no, I'm really excited for that though. Retro World Expo, which I have to figure out what games I kind of want to buy.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out what my buy on site list is gonna look like.
Exactly. What's any anime you've been watching recently?
I've been watching something and I forgot.
You've been watching. I watched something, but I forgot.
I watched the first like 3 or 4 episodes. Rewatched the first 3 or 4 episodes of Record of Lodoss War from the 90s.
Oh, okay. We're going.
Yeah.
We are okay. All right. You're going there. All right. So it's basically just kind of like you harken back to, let me rewatch it again.
Yeah, because it's been a while since I've like watched something like fantasy oriented.
Yeah. For me, I've been watching a lot of the new seasoned anime out right now. Specifically, I got Cheat Skill Another World and Become Unrivaled in the Real World too. Started off weird, but actually is getting pretty good. And Mashi Magic and Muscles, I've been really enjoying that one. And there was another anime series out there that's been keeping my attention as well. I know that I know that Aqua said my What Hits Sister is we should look in on. But yeah, no, I've been kind of like in that weird middle ground of words, Anubis, words. Like there was this I finished up watching the anime where it's like it's another isekai anime. It's like,
yeah, keep going.
It's with the dog and the wolf and stuff, with the big wolf and stuff like that. What anime is that? I'm gonna hate myself too because I literally just finished it. I'm gonna hate myself. Hold on.
The only one I can think of is Spice and Wolf, and that's not
that is not an isekai. That is a fantasy. Oh, campfire cooking in another world, with my absurd skill. I just finished that and actually really enjoyed it, and I can't wait for the new season.
I keep thinking I've heard of most of the isekai anime, but it's turning out that I really don't even know half of it because I've never heard of any of these ones you've mentioned.
Really? Damn. Aqua said, I have not seen Record of Lodoss War in a long time. I have not seen this anime since I've attended an anime club back when I was in high school. Wow.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I remember like back in high school and even in college, anime club.
But it's like I thought I was like not on the cutting edge, but a little bit like in like the 49% of like people, like in the 51st percentile of people who know about isekai anime, just because like I was up on vending machine isekai before a lot of people.
Yeah,
but
you're like vending machine is happening.
Yeah, it turns out I'm not that well versed in isekai anime.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Who said DxD High School? The anime that's basically almost a hentai. Almost. It is like on that. It is in that gray line area. But no, other than that, though, just been gaming, watching anime, just trying to catch up on my stuff, just before the new season arrives with some more stuff, which I need to watch that anime movie by the director of Your Name.
Mm.
Was it Suzumi? I think it was.
Makoto Shinkai.
Yeah, his new one is Suzumi or something like that. Um, try. Yeah, yeah, Suzumi. Yeah, I heard really great things about it, but again, I hadn't had the chance to watch it. Hell, I haven't even had the chance to watch the what was it, the new One Piece movie, the last one that came out. So I certainly have been reading more isekai lately. Yeah, I know. I think isekai has been like it's becoming like a bigger and bigger thing. You know, like as
It well, it's the latest trend.
yeah, we've
Just like real robot anime was the trend in like the 80s. And super robot anime was the trend in the 70s.
yeah, and then yeah, it's becoming the bigger and bigger thing because we're getting all these different isekais and stuff like that. And even though we got
Also, it's like it's super accessible.
yeah
Like if you're a semi-talented, I mean, like not to disparage light novel authors, but if you're a reasonably talented writer in Japan, you can just post your stuff online and there's a legitimate chance it'll get noticed by a major publisher and put in a magazine and that might eventually get made into an anime.
yeah, which again, this is the time for isekai basically, which man, but no, we've was it shonen was
I
trying
mean, shonen is always there's always a big
shonen's
battle
always
shonen.
yeah, big battle
There like
shonen, yeah, it's like that
there's
was
always like there's gonna always be these mainstays, but
yeah.
every era has its own trend. We're
and
going through the isekai trend.
And speaking of trends, we're actually going to go start heading into the news right now. Now, this portion. Now, usually after for those who don't know, how our podcast goes. First off, introductions, how like introducing ourselves and our guests. Also, what we've been doing lately. Next up is going to be our news segment. Where we're talking about the latest news happening in both anime and video games. And then after that, we can talk a little bit about topics to talk about and the board, and then answering any viewer questions you have out there. So if you have any questions you'd like to ask us, you can leave it at the end. First and foremost, I'm really fucking wicked excited for Metal Gear Solid 3 remake. I like I am okay. Hear me out. It's Konami. I fucking hate Konami still.
That's the reason why I'm cautious.
Like
Everybody else on the planet seems to be like super pumped about it. Like unabashedly, unadulteratedly pumped about it. I'm like, well, I they made Metal Gear Survive like right after MGS5 came.
yeah, and some
Like
of the
they made
people
Metal Gear Survive,
and
and
some
then
people
they did the pachinko game that people thought was like
insanely pissed
tasteless.
off. Insanely pissed off the community there.
So I'm like, I'm gonna wait and see. It looks nice.
Like
It looks really cool. I'm
yeah,
gonna wait and see.
like
I'm gonna wait until it comes out and I see some gameplay and I see some actual like real in-depth details of w- how this game is gonna end up playing. Because this is it's I think it would be really cool to have a really good like remake, remaster, whatever they're gonna call it of MGS3.
oh yeah,
Because
which is the
it's
best.
my favorite Metal Gear game.
It's the best one, literally the best
So
one.
yeah,
And the subsistence
so
version made it even 10 times better with a player controlled camera.
so I I'm cautious.
I'm
I'm not gonna sit here and be super excited about
I
it because
well,
it's MGS3.
I'm excited because it's MGS3, but again, we haven't seen any gameplay footage. We saw screenshots, which looked absolutely amazing. I'm the one thing that I approve of, they got the whole voice cast to reprise their roles. I'm
Okay,
like
that's good. That was
that
actually
is
gonna be my
that is
next
really
question.
good. That is really good. I don't. But the thing is, I'm very curious about. We don't see is Kojima involved in any way, shape, or form.
I
Because
would
this
doubt
was
it
this I
because
like I know like this is his personal baby. That's why I think the reason why they added like Delta in the name because it's kind of like this
well, Delta represents change.
yeah pretty much. Wait, was that Greek basically?
Yeah, Greek alphabet.
Gotcha. So,
Delta always represents change.
but we don't know what else they're gonna do. All we know is that Konami stated it's gonna be a remake of the game with new elements. Up to date stuff.
With new elements.
Well, not well.
That's
Well, hold
uh
on. I'm trying
you're starting to
to.
understand why I'm cautious.
I know. I'm trying to see here. I don't know if they say new elements. It's like they're gonna update the gameplay basically, which again, player control camera, its subsystems really did help out a lot. They are also releasing a bundled collection this fall, which includes the original Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake,
Yep.
Metal Gear Solid, including VR and special missions,
Ooh.
Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty, and Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater HD collection version.
Mm-hmm.
So which is funny because for those who don't know, you weren't able to buy the HD collections digitally because Konami didn't renew the license for the historical footage.
Yeah.
And it was basically radio silent for a while. We're like, what's going on? Like, if you were like, take it for the Xbox Series, right here. I got an Xbox Series X, and I physically bought I physically have the Metal Gear HD collections because it's still backwards compatible. It's on the list, so you just cannot get it digitally. So, but with this coming out, I think this is a great time for people to get involved in the Metal Gear series. So, if you don't know what this is, I think the bundle collection will be uh, a great introduction, especially if you do like a more tactical stealth gameplay approach with humor and its own little various things it's going for, including let's not forget the cardboard box.
It's certainly it's certainly a very unique game series that has to be like you have to play it in order to really get it.
And don't skip the cutscenes or the codec calls.
Do not skip the cut. Don't skip anything in Metal
Yeah,
Gear.
you like
Never.
it'll be a little confusing and a little long, but it'll all make sense because it's literally building up for the whole story as a whole.
Speaking of skipping stuff, I've never played Metal Gear Solid.
Really, I
Yeah,
mean, it's a good. It's a good.
I've played other than the Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2. I've played MGS2. I've played MGS3. Played MGS4. I'm getting close. I'm actually finally getting close to beating MGS4 now.
Nice.
Uh, Played MGS5. Played Peace Walker.
Fucking beautiful game.
Excellent game.
Portable Ops.
No.
That was the prelude to Peace Walker. That was good too. Like for me, I played mostly every Metal Gear game, including Metal Gear Acid, which was
Ooh.
it was a very very unique approach to Metal Gear.
Yes.
I'm going to say that, but no, like honestly, I'm really excited. But I'm wondering a few things. Again, are they involving Kojima in any way, shape, or form? Because if Konami can get Kojima, if Konami can fucking give the biggest apology and make it with Kojima, this will be like the whole a 180.
If Kojima's involved, I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm in sight unseen.
but which is funny because if this was announced during the PlayStation show and it made it seem like it was exclusive to the PlayStation 5, but no, the good thing is the game Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater is coming out for PS5, PC, and the Xbox Series. So
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
options to get it. For me personally, PC, of course, because this is the first time it's actually coming out on PC. And actually, first time the Metal Gear games in a long time, and like the classic stuff, come out on PC because the last
True.
original title that we got on PC was MGS2. But I also got the PS5 version just because. Again, I'm a huge Metal Gear fan. I got the collectors, the Japanese collectors edition for the original Snake Eater, and it is really fucking awesome. I'm not gonna lie, it is definitely worthwhile collector's item, but we do have to move on. But that we're gonna keep a close eye on this one. Next up is Bungie unveils Marathon.
Yeah.
Their next shooter, and it's an extraction shooter to boot, which is I'm very, very, very. First off, for those who don't know, this is not a quote unquote new IP. This is kind of this is
It's a very old IP.
this is one of like their first games, basically, in a sense. Like, yeah, I think this
Yeah,
was the one
so-
game that started everything, pretty much.
So for those who don't know, Bungie used to make games for the Mac, and Marathon was like the Macintosh answer to Doom.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like it was that kind of pseudo 3D sprite based shooter. And there are a lot of ideas that are introduced in the Halo story that actually started out in like if you play Halo 4 and you're going through like Cortana starting to go rampant that's a concept that was started in Marathon.
Yeah, everything basically tied to Marathon in a
It was
sense.
like the proto Halo.
Yeah. Which they didn't say much about it. All we know is that it's happening and it's coming out for PS5 and PC with full crossplay and cross save. So like, I again, this is Bungie. They've made the Halo series. They made Destiny. They had a couple of mishaps along the way with Destiny, but I do believe that these guys are a very talented studio,
They know
which
how to make a shooter.
they know how to make a shooter. Like PlayStation bought Bungie or got Bungie, because it's like you guys know how to make sure we want that. Did they? I don't think they bought Bungie. Did they buy Bungie?
I don't know that they bought Bungie.
I know they were on a buying spree.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
they did.
did.
Yeah, they did.
Sony officially
Yeah,
closes $3.6 billion acquisition.
yeah. Which, but no, we're gonna keep a close eye, for that. Again, we're really excited. It's an extraction shooter, but let's see what Bungie can do with extraction shooters. They do well with like competitive PvP stuff, but let's see if they do how they do with this. So,
Yeah.
uh, Metal Gear story combined the Kingdom of Hearts or the Fate series or Neon Genesis plot. This year's Nothing Matters if it's not Armor. Yeah, no, don't worry. Armor Core is coming. I'm fucking pumped up for that. Next up on the news, Nintendo sends Valve a DMCA notice to block the Steam release of the Wii emulator Dolphin.
Yeah.
So for those
First things first, nobody should be surprised.
absolutely nobody. And for a second thing, if you don't know, Nintendo is really, really, really fucking. They hate emulators with a fucking passion.
Yes.
But the ironic thing is, Nintendo is one of those companies they don't salvage or save the games. It's just it exists and now it's gone in time and space, unless they somehow do like a backwards, like what they're doing now with the Nintendo Switch. If you get the better membership, you can play these classic games and stuff like that. But that's really it. But Nintendo's like ruthless when it comes to emulators, absolutely fucking ruthless, and it's kind of hilarious. They sent a DMCA to Valve to be like, "Yo, block this shit." And
Right.
this is not just a Wii emulator. It's also a GameCube emulator. Which again, Nintendo's really bad about this. Even PlayStation, you have some ways to play your classic stuff. Some, like the Xbox, is technically the best way to do it when it comes backwards compatible. But Nintendo is like, nah, it's gone. Like, there's no way to save these awesome fucking games.
Well, I mean, so he and 100% not a lawyer. So I could be very wrong. But my understanding is there's nothing wrong with the emulator, but if they include something like the BIOS files,
Yeah,
that's
that's a big thing.
that's an actual problem. Like that you could actually get in trouble for that. And then ROMs, of course,
Yeah.
you could actually get in trouble for that. But I don't think I my understanding is that there's nothing actually wrong with the emulator.
No, it's just a tool, basically. It's just there. You know. Uh,
Yeah, it's a piece of software meant to run like a piece of hardware. It's not like they're stealing like it's not like if you download Dolphin, you're stealing a game. You're using a piece of software that someone else built to act like a certain piece of hardware.
yeah.
But when you bring in software that someone else built, like the GameCube or the Wii BIOS, or like game ROMs, then
Oh,
that's actual infringement.
so Attila said. So apparently, one of the things they have a case with is Dolphin supplies the Wii decryption key.
Okay, then that could
Oh,
be a problem.
that could be your issue right there. Which is crazy because the Wii it's a retired console. The store doesn't exist anymore. They're not making any more consoles. No one's making any more games. It's just everything that's out there on the Wii is out there. Like if you already got everything, you're good. If you don't, you're fucked. Especially the digital only stuff that was really exclusive. It's gone. Maybe
Yeah,
it is not coming back, which fucking sucks. But no, it's just again Nintendo's fucking ruthless with this. But we're gonna see what happens. And again, Dolphin is just one emulator. It's not there are more out there. So, but
yeah.
it's just there.
Also, you, you can go download Dolphin.
Yeah.
It's like how do people get Dolphin before it was on Steam? When
Yeah, there's always a thing out there, but I think next up on the list is going to be a big thing. This is I don't know how more disappointed in Blizzard I can be right now. Where if
If
you
you weren't already maximum disappointed in Blizzard with everything they've already done wrong, I don't know what to tell you.
so recently it has been announced that Blizzard has officially scrapped Overwatch 2's PvP hero mode. The one thing selling point basically that justified Overwatch 2, which would have brought in, single player mode, PvE action with your friends, a unique elements, story. It's gone. They scrapped it. The thing that I'm really pissed off about, they knew they weren't able to do this back in 2019. So they had this information. So they had this. They were like, we're doing this. Don't worry, guys. But in the back of their hands, it's like we won't be able to do this. So the fact that they said like, yeah, back in 2019, we've learned about, it's like we realized that we can't deliver on the original version for it. I'm like, oh fuck.
Guys, why did you ever believe Blizzard?
And it's so fucking stupid. Absolutely so fucking stupid. Activision Blizzard has become the 2005 2013 EA. Exactly. Like all they had to do was just update Overwatch, give it the updates it deserves, and more effort and more support. You didn't need to make a new game, but now you made Overwatch 2 and say, hey, the single player is coming, and now that one reason is gone. You just pissed off your fucking community there. Like now, it's funny because Attila was telling me, the Gundam Evolution game is actually, starting to look pretty good right now. It's more stable. I'm like, you know what? I'm willing to try it out more.
Hey, Gundam Evolution. It's like Overwatch, except I give a shit about it.
Exactly. And it really sucks because they say that they're gonna, like, don't worry, there's gonna be PvE experience coming to Overwatch. I'm like, yeah, the bare bones watered down version of it. You can't fucking make this shit up. Like, Blizzard has been going on a downhill spiral basically. This is not Blizzard.
Every time I think they can't go further downhill, they go further downhill.
Yeah, this is not Blizzard back in the late 90s, early 2000s, which they were fucking amazing. They were the
Yeah.
company to root for because
Well,
they
Blizzard back in the late 90s, early 2000s was uh the release date is when
when
it's
it's
done.
done. And when it's done, they were gamers. They cared about their game a lot. They worked with their community. They knew.
I'm telling you, there is a very clear line of demarcation, and that line is the moment they became Activision Blizzard. That's the moment that everything started going downhill.
That
And has anything ever gone uphill since then? I don't think it has.
uh like it's funny too because I think it's like I think the biggest red flags that we should have known something was off was when Jeff Kaplan left as the director of Overwatch, and we're like, oh shit. Because I think this was like
there are
he was
so
the
many
one he was,
there were so many sooner red flags. That's my thing.
like he was the one guy trying to keep the whole fucking ship together, basically.
Anybody who had any faith in Blizzard for the past several years is wrong.
And that's what's
Like, why would you have any faith in Blizzard
and
at any point in time
I
for
can
any reason?
uh,
These are the guys who sat up on stage and said, "What, you guys don't have phones?" When they came out with a mobile game when everyone wanted a
Diablo,
proper
like
PC
a
game
proper Diablo game,
with
yeah,
on in the Diablo franchise. And
yeah,
then they came out with that Diablo game and it wasn't very good.
yeah. And now we're getting Diablo 4, which I am.
If
I will say
if you're
this.
if you're expecting that game and it comes out and you're disappointed, you deserve what happened
I will say this.
because you believed in Blizzard when you have no business believing in Blizzard
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah. I am not gonna get Diablo 4 on launch or post after. I'm just gonna kind of wait and see what they do because I have a good feeling that launch is gonna be shicey as a motherfucker. But I don't want to like. And people are like, oh, what else Blizzard done? Heroes of the Storm, a MOBA that I actually really liked a lot. They canceled any major support for the game, and they pretty much just canceled the esports scene too, because they didn't think it was working out. So gone. World of Warcraft, they declined hard after what
After
expand
Wrath.
Wrath of the Lich. Well, There was some other decent expansion packs, but it started definitely declining.
Eh,
Some decent, not Mr. Pandera. That was
eh,
kind of stupid.
I,
That was stupid. That was a stupid expansion pack.
There were maybe some parts of some expansion packs that were good.
Yeah, that were
but the
redeeming.
overall trend was way down.
Also, Attila, Diablo Immortal still gave them way too much. Yeah, no, it's still.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the issue.
But
Is that people still keep believing in them and still keep purchasing their products, even though they do not have a track record anymore of doing things well.
which I'm curious.
And like, not to mention the whole thing with the whole company culture that came out a while ago.
Oh yeah.
Like, it seems that like that's a major problem that nobody talks about anymore. But the entire organization is poisonous. I don't know. I don't get why. Like, if you're disappointed by this Overwatch news, I don't know what to tell you, other than probably shouldn't have had faith in.
Yeah. Plus, they released a roadmap stating like, "Oh, hey, we're gonna be doing this, this, and this for the next few seasons," and I'm like, again, I don't fucking trust you at all.
No.
And
No.
let me
No
tell you.
reason
Let me tell you. Come closer. If they start wavering with updates to the game, and then their logic is let's make Overwatch 3, don't fucking do it. But the problem is they're gonna force people to play Overwatch 3 like they did with Overwatch, with Overwatch 1. Like, I was perfectly fine playing Overwatch 1. I loved Overwatch 1. And then they forced us to play Overwatch 2. I'm like, fuck you. So just Blizzard has not had a good timeline.
No.
They need to turn around the ship hard in order to win back the trust of a lot of gamers out there, which I can imagine a lot of content creators.
They would have to gut their entire leadership. I'm convinced.
Can you imagine the content creators right now? They were hyping up for PvE, be like, hey, I'm really excited for this at least. Now it's like it's gone. I'm in the standby room. As an Overwatch old boy, I can tell you why we trusted them. Wait, what? Is he in the standby room? TEAnubis, can you bring him in?
I can bring him in.
Yeah, bring him in.
Attila, you're on.
Hey. So, the reason why there was a lot of love for Overwatch and even the swallow the pill for Overwatch 2 is because you had Kaplan, who did a lot of great content for World of Warcraft when it was just Blizzard. They had this whole feel and mentality for the gamers, trying to give them the experience and the whole, full product from the start. And that was the goal. They did an actual full product for the PvE that they started well into it, which is what they provided to the BlizzCon 2019. They had this whole essential, I guess, alpha build of it, and people saw it, played it, and actually experienced it.
Yeah, the whole build of the game looked fucking amazing. The interactions and everything.
Like they were really into it, and that was the old Blizzard aspect of it. Obviously,
they did all that, but are we meant to expect that is going to stay at the level of quality it was shown at, when the entire organization, every single other product they came out with, has been either going downhill or out the gate was garbage.
So as a hindsight, it's easier to kind of just shit on everything that was going on. But like I said, Kaplan was one of the few old guard type of the organization. So there was hope.
I admit Kaplan was the one holding the ship together. He was the dude still moving forward with the ship intact somehow.
I'm with you on that. But every single other it's
while he was still attached to it, there was that hope, and there was
Yeah.
that inspiration and desire that it would still have the embers of what Blizzard used to be.
I mean, I get it,
The second that
but
he
that
got, the second that he left for whatever reason internally, now we know there was a lot of other way more issues that at the time nobody knew. There was some speculations, but once he left and everything kind of started coming out to light, the only the only hope was like, okay, maybe they did so much work into it that they're not gonna abandon it. We obviously we were that was more of a naive hope, because obviously at the reason why he left, it was for half a year there was a cancellation after the announcement. Basically, if you look through the timeline, it's like, okay, they're going through, they announced it, and then obviously they canceled it then,
Hope is a
and
dangerous thing.
yeah.
A very, very dangerous thing. But
Once he left, they should have mentioned or started kind of giving the notion to the community, like, hey, we're moving away from the vision. But they obviously used that because it's like, oh, the announcement was coming from him. He left, but the community is coming up with all these different possibilities, and they just run with it.
well, I mean, all that really means is that they know that their entire organization, every single other product they have coming out, is either much shittier than it was a decade ago, or came out shitty, and now they're riding on the one guy that they had that people still believed in, who's gone now.
yeah,
They're
no,
riding on what he said to, to so the rest of their fan base doesn't abandon.
which
Which after this announcement, the last 2 weeks has been full of both heartbreak and memes of basically they're the new EA
yeah, yeah,
of the decade. So a lot of people are just abandoning ship basically.
I should hope so.
yeah.
I should really hope so. But again, my thing is, as as a Blizzard old boy, is so much has gone downhill. Warcraft has gone down. Starcraft has gone down.
Well, it didn't go downhill.
Diablo
They
has
Yeah.
never
gone
just got
hell
another
down.
game out of it.
Well,
It's kind of like nothing's going on. Nothing.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they basically abandoned the IP.
Pretty much.
They've abandoned everything
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've
for
abandoned being a they've abandoned being
monetization.
a competent game studio.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which sucks.
Yeah, like I said, the last hope was that he was the last of the few people
Old
from the
guard.
old
Yeah.
Blizzard. Yeah, and it wasn't just like, the developers have been there for years. It's just he was in management, like in actual control of a major team, and that was the hope that the last embers of Blizzard were still somewhere in there.
Yeah. But
And
I abandoned the last embers of Blizzard once. Like, I think once we got into like WoW Cataclysm, I think that was it for me. Because that's the first time, first or second time quit.
yeah, a lot of people I've been looking on here. It's like on the fucking forums for Blizzard when the director now, Aaron, what the fuck, Aaron Keller. Like again, Blizzard is trying to do damage control to the maximum degree. People are like, we don't fucking trust you. So yeah, it's
All I'm gonna say is, we'll see when the next was it Diablo that's coming out soon,
Diablo 4.
or at some point. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see what
6,
happens
yeah.
when the next Diablo game comes out.
Yeah, we'll see.
Because I'm still not entirely convinced that anyone still on the Blizzard train has learned their lesson.
no,
Yeah.
I mean, with Diablo, I was waiting until it went on sale in like a year from now
Yeah.
at like 75% off.
Yeah. But that's all I do. Thank you so much for your input, buddy.
Yeah, of course.
All right. And we're gonna keep
Yes, thank you so.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
All right, we're gonna keep moving this train forward here. Now, topics to talk about. So that was pretty much the news that we want to talk about. Now we do topics that me and Anubis talks about. And one of the topics I said was, how long does an anime have to be before it kind of gets kind of stupid? End it, please, for the love of fucking Christ, just end it. So Anubis, how long a series you think should last until it finally ends, like the last chapter?
Well, so everything, like my judgment for everything is gonna be based on does it serve its purpose or not.
Yes, of course.
And so it's like Gundam was like 40 something episodes. A lot of them are like get up to 54 or 56 episodes, but they're a contained story.
Yeah, like that was back then where there was like we had like on average a season was 24 episodes, give or take. Yeah, give or take, it was 24 episodes for a season. Now, a season anime is like
Well,
12.
well, I mean, it depending on how far back you go with Gundam, it could be like a whole series is just 56 episodes, and there's just one every week for a whole year. That was how a lot of those super robot anime worked,
Yeah, Attila said,
where it was just week by week, and they're fighting the monster. This week it's the monster with an axe for a head, and then the next week it's the monster that looks like a rake, or every single week, and then they exhaust all their shit, and then they use the exact same attack to finish off the monster. So like, I remember back in the day reading a review of the old Mazinger Z anime, I think it was,
hmm,
and part of the complaint was that it feels very, very repetitive. And it's like,
like
yes,
dragged
because
out. Yeah,
that was before home video.
yeah,
So you couldn't it was actually impossible to watch Mazinger Z a whole bunch of episodes right after the other back in
yeah.
the day. Like it was made for an entirely different format of television.
But to you personally, how many episodes? Like until it says 48 episodes, how many episodes would you watch a series before you're like, you just guys edit, please, for the love of Christ?
It depends on if it's good or not.
Like I know,
I mean,
like
I watched all of First Gundam. It,
I-
it was good, and like that's first Gundam when it was still back in like kind of the super robot anime paradigm, where if you watch the compilation movies, there's stuff in the compilation movies that they took out that was in the TV series, but it's still perfectly fine, and it's 40 something episodes, and it's a good 40 something episodes.
like I,
What really matters to me is, am I enjoying what I'm watching? I'll watch 100 episodes of whatever if it's good, if I'm
like
engaged, if it keeps me if it's actually keeping me entertained rather than just dragging on and on and on.
like for instance, like same here. Like I was hyped up for My Hero Academia. Loved it. First season, second season, awesome. And then it just kind of started to, I just didn't get into it, and it was like meh. It just like for me, I just lost that fuel because I'm like, okay, this is getting dumb. It's time to move on to something else. Effectively, they got 2 seasons worth out of me. Um, Sword Art Online first season only, and because everyone told me don't watch past the first season or two. Like two is optional, just watch the first one and that's it. But a good story is one thing. Yeah, I hated the one thing I hate the most, and I swear to fucking Christ Almighty, this was a stupid fucking thing they did. Was Inuyasha. The whole premise of the first season was Kagome had to collect the shards because the ball broke and all these shards went everywhere. So they had to collect all the shards, put it back together, all that dandy stuff. What happened when they finally got everything together? Nope. 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 No, it was just stupid. It was just stupid. Like, and even then, now we're getting sequels to animes out there too. Like, Fruit Basket got a sequel, which is like, wow, really? I mean, I know the fan case is fucking dedicated to hell. Like, One Piece is the classic case of the, it's the Anubis. How does that saying go? Like,
I
it's
I don't know
the
what you're
exception that proves the rule. Like, as long as it's good, you can keep going. But for me personally, I start losing out on like after 4 seasons worth. Like, because in the back of my mind, there comes to a certain point, like, just end it. You're done. Unless you can try to whip up something really cool, you're done.
Well, I mean, it's also an issue of a lot of these very long running series are following a manga that's
Still,
however many hundreds of
yeah,
volumes long or whatever it is.
that is still going. Like Detective Conan, right? It's still going.
Detective Conan's still going.
One Piece.
One Piece is still
But One
going.
Piece is slowly. They're almost.
They're going to wrap it up eventually.
They're going.
Like
They're nearing the
ending
final arc,
is
basically.
beginning to be in sight.
Berserk. Before the director guy passed away, he did lay down the groundwork of how he wanted to end it.
Right.
So we know that's going to be ending. But like, here's for me, like, we got all these animes that are going, and then I'm still waiting on for a fucking anime series like season 2 of No Game No Life, season 2 of Gate. Come on, fuck's sakes, it's the Harry Potter issue where they don't know what to cut because the story is going as they are making it. Yeah. It's like literally like the page is being written while they're be like, shit, we caught up. We need another filler episode.
Well, that's why they have fillers, because they catch up to the manga and they don't have there literally is no more story to adapt until more of the manga comes out.
Which I think Naruto was was it, which series had the worst fucking filler? Like
I don't know. I didn't watch any of them. I'm not gonna.
But was it Bleach? Did they have a lot of fillers too?
I had Bleach on in the background as
Ini-
I did something else. I didn't actually watch it.
Okay, yeah, Inuyasha, definitely one of them. Fuck me. Again, I got
Inuyasha
pissed.
is one of the ones I did watch.
Fuck me, like,
but not like all of it.
Didn't the ball broke and the shards had to fucking cast out again? They gotta find it that shit again.
So
which one I
didn't make
so
it that far.
Bleach did a whole season that was filler. Yeah, yep. I thought they had like a whole filler season. I'm like, god damn, guys. Oh man. Which also, again, like it just, like you said, it depends on how good it is. It doesn't keep my attention, but at a certain point,
it's like I'll watch like Clannad and Clannad After Story. That's like, if not 50 something episodes, they're very close to 50 something episodes. I'll watch like Code Geass and Code Geass R2. That's like 50. That's 48 or 52 episodes, something like that. Like, there's plenty of anime I'll watch that ends up being 50 something episodes, and that's quite a bit of time. But it's like, like I almost completely rewatched all of Nadesco in a day.
Wow.
And that's 26 episodes.
You were binging. You were like, let's go.
I rewatched it on accident, by the way. Like I watched I want to see this one scene from episode 4, and then I just kept watching it and until I was at like episode 20.
Again, like it's fucking hilarious because back then seasons were longer. Anime seasons now usually 12 episodes. When people are like, oh, I was able to watch this season in one day. I'm like, really? Just 12 episodes? Those are rookie numbers. Rookie numbers, I say. Oh man. But yeah, no, it's God, what other topic you want to talk about, Anubis? I've rewatched Cowboy Bebop at least 32 times in my... Yeah, no, Cowboy Bebop, great series. I wouldn't mind having a sequel to it, but it's one of those things where a sequel would probably be like wait, hear me out. An OVA movie that happens in between. Another an in-between story. I think
but like
Trigun did it.
You get into that area where it's like they start coming out with like sequels to Fooly Cooly that nobody asked for. It's like,
that was
really?
Well, no,
really?
yeah.
You're making a sequel to this?
A sequel to Fooly Cooly is kind of
self-contained actual story with a beginning and an end. You're making a sequel to this, or you're making more of it? Why? Why is that necessary?
6 episodes, yeah. It was 6, right? Yeah, it was 6, wasn't it? Because the DVDs were like 2 episodes. Yeah, because the DVDs were like 2 episodes each. Because I remember I was collecting the DVDs too back then. But no, an in-between movie. and like can work. Cowboy Bebop did it. Fucking movie was fucking fantastic. Trigun did it. Badland Rose Rumble, fucking fantastic. It has to be an in between, not necessarily like a sequel after. Like just another story of what happened on their journey to the end.
I don't know that that's necessary. The Gundam 8th MS team did one of those, and it was good. I don't know that that's necessary to continue doing.
Well, I'm not saying spam it the living hell out of it, but no, if you
We already got the movie. What else do you want? The only thing I would advocate for is make an OVA out of that PS2 game.
Also, Marcus said, do a One Piece challenge. Listen, we already did the math. It would take us
No.
2 months
Piece
straight.
challenge.
It would do 2 months straight through to do
Not happen.
it. Gundam Wing. Oh, Gundam Wing Waltz. Ooh.
And Endless Waltz. Yeah, Gundam Wing did the Endless Waltz.
Yep. Like, again, for me personally, like, I think 4 seasons worth, 48 episodes tops would be a good thing for me if they kind of wrap it all up. Or 1 season if it was a really good season.
I'll watch all of it if it's good.
Like,
if it really captures and holds my attention, I'll watch as many episodes as you need me to, but it has to hold my attention throughout the whole thing. And
Exactly.
that's the issue.
Exactly. Oh, also waiting for another season of Log Horizon. Another one. I like that. But no. All right. I think now we're going to moving on to our segment called The Board.
Okay.
Now, every episode for the DAICON podcast, we have The Board, which is basically myself and Anubis puts in 3 to 5 animes each to put up on a board, grading system-wise, from F tier to S tier. F, fucking don't watch it. Don't even bother watching it. I don't even know why we're suggesting it. S tier, God tier. You cannot do wrong. This is a great anime series regardless. So it's basically your best recommendations and avoiding list altogether. So I have the list right here. I know it doesn't look fancy right now. Again, you got to start somewhere, right, Anubis?
Got to start somewhere.
Got to start somewhere. I'll even increase the thing right there. So for me to start, personally, I think Cowboy Bebop belongs in S tier.
I'd give it a high A at best. Okay, well, no. What do the tiers mean? We need to establish
A
that
tier
first.
is the best. Like, this is like godlike. A, great series. B, it's a pretty good series. C, neither good nor bad. It's like a great system. It's like,
based on what? Like what are the criteria we're basing it on?
Story, music, I don't know, voice casting. But personally, I think Cowboy Bebop S tier. Multitude of reasons. Story was fantastic. This was one of the very few animes that actually got the voice cast for the English cast dubbing right. Like, it was like the holy shit. Like, because back then, dubbing anime dubs were always kind of like very, it's a mixed bag of things. But Cowboy Bebop did it fucking perfectly. Soundtrack fucking beautiful. Let's not lie to ourselves. I'm not gonna fucking mention the live action bullshit because that doesn't exist in the back of my mind.
Necessary.
It is not necessary. The series also had different themes with every episode, diving into like the characters, the main cast's past and all that and stuff. With the ultimate end that was just, it was one of those spoilers. Even though the anime has been out since how long? 1997.
Yeah. 1998 is when it came out.
1998. Again, if you hadn't seen it, watch it. But it's one of those you kind of choose your ending type thing. But it's a fantastic show if you love space, if you love action, if you love sweet serenade of jazz music coming in hard. And, like, that's why I think it's S tier. Because it's a really good anime to also bring people into anime. It's not,
I'd even battle on that, honestly.
All right. The fact between Yoko and the animation team, they push to create better episodes based on their work, is a true art for any kind of animation, not just anime. Exactly, Attila. They were shooting for the moon and they reached the stars.
they made a good anime. They made a good anime. I'd give it a high A tier.
Can we agree? Can you just give me that S tier, low S at best? Because when you think top anime series out there, Cowboy Bebop's always one of them. Always.
Well, top what? Top 3, top 5, top 10.
Anubis, if
It doesn't make my top 3, and it doesn't make my top 5. It maybe makes the top 10, maybe.
wow,
Only because I can't think of 10 right now.
if it is not an S, what would it be?
I'd say a high A. It might make the top like 3 of the A tier.
Me, it's top 3 immediately for me. Like, it is up there.
All right, so if we take like the entire breadth of anime, it's like Evangelion basically created an entire genre of anime that came after it. There would not be Razafon if it wasn't for Evangelion. There wouldn't be stuff like Serial Experiments Lane
Oh,
if
God.
it wasn't for Evangelion.
All right.
Like, so like that to me is an S tier.
So something that basically shook up the industry and everyone followed suit.
Something that
Was so
A has that level of quality, and then B also like had impact within the medium.
This is
Like had some significant level of it.
Bebop definitely Bebop definitely did change things around. It definitely was
What
like,
did it change?
like, hold on. Bob opened anime to the rest of the world. Exactly. It was listen.
No, it didn't. That's
Adult
not
Swim.
That's not a correct thing to say.
It helped push anime into the limelight.
Toonami was putting out anime.
Yeah, like Dragon Ball Z and all that
5 years
stuff.
before that.
But
Dragon Ball Z, Zoids, you might put Gundam Wing up in there for introducing Gundam to the Western world. Maybe
as a whole, it deserves to be up there.
Cowboy Bebop didn't introduce anime to the rest of the world. What are you talking about?
Attila, I grew up in Latin America where anime was around since the 70s. Dang.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it didn't open up anime to the rest of the world. It was a really good anime that caught up, that did catch big in America. It's a really good anime. I'm not discounting. It's sitting on my shelf right now. It's really
sitting
good
on my
anime.
shelf right now. I got the collector's edition on Blu-ray.
Explain to me what it changed, because that's what I'm looking for.
Oh God. One, the dubbing. One, dubs. Definitely English dub was fucking fantastic.
I can pick out a bunch of good English dubs. I'm highly lenient on dubs.
You're highly lenient. Okay. Well, Yoko's taste in music. Fucking holy shit,
dude.
I know.
Do not sit here and talk to me about Yoko Kanno's taste in music.
She was involved in all.
My third favorite anime.
Macross Plus, Ghost in the Shell.
Talk to me about Yoko Kanno. Macross Plus is my third favorite anime, and I would put that in S tier before Bebop.
Wow, things getting spicy.
Bebop is not the best Shinichiro Watanabe Yoko Kanno collab. It's up there. There's only a handful of them. It's up there, but it's not the best.
Man.
You're not gonna sit here and tell me that's the best. And I'm the jazz music guy. You're not gonna sit here and tell me that that's the best collab.
I'm pushing Cowboy Bebop hard for S tier. Okay, I'm pushing it.
High A.
Can you meet me with low? There's going to be an anime. There's going to be an anime.
Explain to me something that it changed.
There's going to be an anime,
and I'll give you the S tier. Explain.
We're going to return to this next episode, so I can change this travesty. But I will put it in S tier for now. when I'll
Yeah,
come back
this dude straight
hard.
up ignoring me. This dude
Yeah, I am not
wants
ignoring you. I am regrouping my
you're
plan.
dodging my question like Macross. You're dodging my question like Max Genius in the Veritech.
All right,
You're how I'm shooting the missile. You're dodging.
all right. What about you? Put one anime on the board for what tier? Go,
Give me a genre.
dude. Just put like I put. It's always like in the '90s, Bebop was allowed to see it as meaning more than kids' entertainment. Exactly.
No, that was Evangelion that allowed anime to be seen as more than kids entertainment.
But pick an anime and just put it on the board what you think what tier it belongs into. It could be S, it could be A.
Yeah, I didn't prepare like 5 anime, so give me a genre. I'll pick an anime.
I threw you. What's an anime that came into your mind right now? In what tier? Go.
Tenchi Muyo.
What tier?
Tenchi Muyo in a high A tier.
I could. You know what? Funny enough, I could actually agree with Tenchi. Wow! Holy fuck! Attila coming in.
Tenchi Muyo is a solid C tier. Okay. All right. Might have to battle Attila on this.
Okay. Are you Attila? Are you thinking the other Tenchi Muyo stuff that wasn't as good because they're
You might be
definitely
thinking about Tenchi in Tokyo. You might be thinking about GXP. You might be thinking about War on Geminar.
It is
I'm
funny because
talking
this is like
the original Tenchi Muyo Ryo Oki, if you want to use the Japanese title.
like
The original Tenchi Muyo OVAs.
like I can agree with Anubis. Like yes, I feel like Tenchi Muyo is an A tier. It is a classically good and comedic anime, which also has a sub canon thing involved with dual parallel universe because it does take place within the Tenchi Muyo universe. So, but yeah, no, I think Anubis is one of those things that we both can agree that yes, this is.
After that battle, I'm gonna be agreeable.
I will be agreeable to Tenchi Muyo. Okay, so back to me.
Okay.
Again, these are some of the animes I love and adore growing up. Tenchi brought us the first waifu. I mean, there were other
If they
waifus.
brought us the first waifu. There were definitely waifus before Tenchi Muyo.
There were other
but-
great waifus, but Tenchi has some good ones. So when I think of the top animes that come to my head, next one is going to be Trigun. Classic. Bare minimum A tier. I'm waiting for this fucker to speak. And please believe.
I'll give you A tier just because it's been a very long time since I've seen Trigun.
Really?
I know what I will tell you is out of the trifecta with Cowboy Bebop, Outlaw Star, Trigun is my least favorite. But I'll still give you I'll still give you an A tier. All 3 of those anime, they're just different levels of A tier.
Damn. Ramen 1/2 is what brought Harem, and it's also damn. Now, don't worry. Don't worry. We will bring out. There will be other animes out there. Where I'm just going through the stuff that's coming in our minds right now. Anubis, go. Next up.
Martian's successor Nadesco is S tier.
What the fuck? How do you spell that?
Martian space SUCCESSOR space
I see it.
NADESICO.
Oh, okay. I've seen a lot of AMVs of this. I never got to see the anime series.
It's one of the best mecha series to come out of the 90s. It came out right on the coattails of Evangelion, and then in kind of.
Why S tier though? That like if you would even consider Cowboy Bebop S tier, how the fuck are you gonna consider this S tier?
So, Nadesco has a very intricate story. It has a very intricate way of presenting the story. It's one of the it maybe is the best anime I've seen that does both actual very serious stuff and hilarious comedy in the same episode, sometimes at the same time. It's a very unique anime to come out of the 90s. I've really never seen anything quite like it since.
Like, again, I never personally seen this anime series ever. Never seen it at all. I know of it. I know of it because it's been used in a lot of AMVs growing up back in the day. A
It's actually one of
lot.
the most popular anime in Japan, at least when it came.
Either way, I don't I don't want to give some I don't want to give something an S tier if I haven't personally seen it. Because at
Well, then
best,
you also can't explain to me why it's.
um, Attila says no. At best, Nadesco is A, but I would say it's B. I would match
No,
it with
it's S tier. Clearly,
one is a comedy, one is overly serious, but both are B. A minus at best. Yeah, A minus. Like
you calling Nadesco a comedy is you're talking about half an anime. It's actually a very serious anime with comedy, or it's a comedy anime with a lot of very serious moments. So
so,
you can't
it's
you can't call it a comedy
you just
and then just be done with
you
it.
just basically explain the Yakuza video game series.
I mean, true, but in a different way.
Like again, I'm
Like it, and this isn't a spoiler because I'm not being specific, but like in the third episode, you'll have hilarious comedy. The line delivery is perfect. All the all the little intricacies of the world play directly into the comedy and into the characterization, and then someone will be shot for real, and it will actually traumatize the crew for the rest of the show.
damn.
And it takes seriously every single part of itself, and it has such a it has such a poignant and important message to send that really needs to be experienced to be understood. Like I can't do justice to it by explaining it. If you want me to spoil the story for you, I can do that. But it would be me doing like kind of doing a disservice to the story by explaining it.
All right. It insists
Attila
upon
saying it
itself.
insists
That's
upon
all I.
itself. No,
That's
that
all I heard. Wow.
I no I know I can tell you about an anime that insists upon itself. Nadesco doesn't insist upon itself. It explains everything in it explains everything within the story. Everything is internally consistent. You understand the message it's going for without it having to tell you that this is something that's very serious and you should pay attention.
I feel like you. Chat. What do you guys think? Because again, I will admit that I have not seen this at all. I've seen clips of it. I've seen stuff from MVA and Bs. Again, S tier is like one of those things. I'm very hesitant. If I don't know of it, I'm. Should we have a to be determined bin?
I mean, I'll give you A tier, but that's as low as I'll possibly go for Nadesco.
Okay, we'll do 8. There's a lot of A tiers. Yeah, because I'm like,
Because we can't agree on an S tier.
no, it's no. And do note for the board, it will include also movies as well. So, just a heads up, because there's a lot of great films out there and a lot of bad ones too. So, FLCLC.
No, I can't even give fully
No.
a C tier.
No. Okay. I'm next again. I'm throwing a lot of '90s animes growing up here, but I think this one is.
We're so far completely 90.
I think this is a really good one. It's not the best, I will admit, but it's a solid one. It's like it was getting there, and funny enough, the live action series that it spawned off worked out really well too. Great Teacher Onizuka. I will give it solid B tier.
I haven't seen it, so I can't speak to that.
Fantastic, solid comedy series with a lot of serious moments that are involved. Because we got Onizuka who is a gang leader, but one of his things he wants to do, he wants to teach. So throughout the whole series, he's basically getting to know his students, helping out with their problems, all that stuff in hilarious ways, basically. But what, you never seen Great Teacher Onizuka?
Never seen it.
Y'all need to watch Great Teacher. I'm just saying, this is a really good list of stuff to
Dude,
watch.
you've never seen Nadesco. Don't start.
Great Teacher Onizuka. I remember. Okay, but yeah, it is a solid anime. I am very comfortable putting this in B tier. A niche, yes, but a funny, hilarious niche nonetheless. All right, Anubis, go. We might as well just start.
Amagami SS, and that will be S tier. And I can explain why. Amagami SS really started the whole omnibus format. It started a new format of harem anime, where instead of either each arc going through one particular girl's story like it does in Shuffle or like it does in Clannad, or instead of the whole thing just being the entire harem anime like it is in Love Hina or like it is in a lot of other harem anime. Amagami SS is 6 4-episode romance anime in one anime. And it resets every time. And each one of those 4-episode romance anime is better than most 12-episode romance anime. If you want to watch a romance anime, Amagami SS, you can't do a whole lot better than SS, especially within the frame.
Okay. You threw out an anime in the 2000s for once. I'm like,
Yeah.
that was what we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. You know what? Let's do 2 more each. Let's give it an actual 5 from either side. Back to me. You know what? Since you threw out an anime out there, I'm trying to balance the books here, Anubis. I'm like, that's a lot of the age. I'm not gonna fucking lie here. There is a lot of stuff. Fuck me. You're making this. Because even I'm like trying to look up like references and stuff like that, just to. Ghost stories. All right. Where are we put? I'm including the English dub is going to be spearheading this one here, people. Marcus, Bubblegum Crisis. We will go to that in a hot second. But we are doing the dub of Ghost Stories, dub and sub, because I know the sub is literally what it's supposed to be, and the dub is fuck it. It's kind of like one of those wombo combo things. I want to say, yes, when we think of Ghost Stories, we think of the dub.
Everyone thinks of
the dub. And the dub is fucking hilarious, and the dub is really fucking... If you think you've seen 90s animes were not pulling punches. So, in today's culture, it would be very... I could see trigger warning labels all over the shit. Cancel culture would have a field day. Well, I want to do both. I'm going to combine it both into one thing. Because I don't think we should separate it. If it was a different season of it.
Yeah,
totally.
it's the same anime. Well, ostensibly the same.
Which, again, I'm comfortable with putting it in B tier. Because the dub was fucking hilarious. Like, if you want to watch a comedy and you have very thick, dark humor skin, This will be fucking. You will have a field day with this thing.
I'm
Hands
about
down.
to get everyone. I'm about to get everyone mad at me.
Oh.
Knowing the story behind the dub, I can't put it higher than D tier.
Oh, come the fuck on.
I'm cursed with knowledge, Panda. I'm cursed with knowledge. I wish I was within the bliss of ignorance with
You-
regard to
I
the
know-
Ghost Stories dub,
Yeah.
but knowing how it came about and knowing what it started,
Essentially, the
li-
fucking.
listen, if it was an extra on the DVD, wouldn't be a problem.
Oh,
But
I'm gonna-
the Stephen Foster and the team just decided they were going to do whatever the fuck they want. It wasn't the what the common story, and correct me if I'm wrong that this is the common story, Panda. The common story is that Ghost Stories didn't do well in Japan, so the rights holders said to ADV, listen, just do whatever you want with it. We don't care. When in reality, Ghost Stories did quite well in Japan. And the team at ADV just did whatever they want.
Okay.
Either because there was some kind of misunderstanding or because they just didn't give a fuck. But either way, they didn't give enough of a fuck to give it a proper dub. And so as a result, anytime someone nowadays decides that they want to do whatever the fuck they want in a dub, people point to Ghost Stories like that's a good point.
It is because they had Greg Aries involved. Greg Aries.
That it was because Stephen Foster and I know the story. There's a lot of misinformation about the story. Stephen Foster made that decision along with the rest of the team, honestly, but that was what went on. He was the script writer. He decided that was what they were going to do.
Can you give me C tier?
I'll give you C tier because on its own, it's a good anime. But the dub is what's preventing it from being.
You are really cursed with knowledge. Jesus fucking Christ.
Listen.
I'm listening.
That there's no excuse for what they did. No excuse.
All right.
I'm sorry.
All right.
Like I get that people think that the dub for Ghost Stories is hilarious. I think it's funny, but there's no excuse for what they did.
All right. So now
Not supposed to exist.
Let me ask you this: What's your next name on the list?
I had one and I lost it while ranting about Ghost Stories.
Really? Okay, I'm gonna put something on the list.
I'm looking at my shelf, and I'm looking at like all the good titles, and I'm like, I don't necessarily want to say that one.
Your knowledge is coming in like, damn it, this is making. Okay, let me say my last thing then. Wait, is it the last thing? One, two,
You got
1, 2, 3. Wait, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I got one more. I think this universal agreement S tier. I want something up there that I could say yes. Can't believe you didn't even say this too, but it was Evangelion.
Of course, S tier.
We agree? Okay.
We agree.
Good.
100%.
Cool. Awesome. Like,
so we can sit here and explain, but we agree, so it doesn't matter.
yeah, like there doesn't need to be a fucking fight. There doesn't need to be a fucking debate.
We don't
We
need to
are in
battle about
universal fucking agreement that Evangelion is S tier status, and I'm talking about the series, the original
TV series,
the original OG TV series.
So if we were to say the rebuild movies, are
That'd
we
be
counting
another-
them as a series of movies, or are we counting them as individual movies?
I think that because they're
because
essentially
they're meant to be watched as a series of.
let's do it as
So I would
let's
make
do it
that
as a
argument.
series.
Okay.
So because it has to, because essentially they're just really long episodes.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and say the rebuild movies at a B tier. And I can explain why if you want me to.
Please.
The reason I'm putting the rebuild movies at a B tier is because essentially what the rebuild movies are like are they just took the Evangelion IP and decided to do something completely different with it. Like the first movie is basically Evangelion episodes 1 through 6. Then it starts to deviate, and the moment it starts to deviate, it starts to deviate hard.
I can agree with you
To the
because
point
it
to the
did.
point
It honestly
where
did. Yeah.
I don't to the point where it really doesn't resemble much of Evangelion anymore, especially by the time you get to the third movie and especially by the fourth movie. And also, who the fuck is Mari Makinami? Can anyone explain to me who this new character is, who this new pilot is that they introduced in the rebuild movies?
Wasn't the rebuild movies kind of like its own? Because the whole thing about Evangelion is that everything that happened was on like this one spectral timeline.
Well, so
And then this
here's
one's kind of like something happened, like its own little bubble of a timeline.
here's my understanding, or at least
Like a reset in a sense.
well, hear me out. Here's
All right.
my understanding of at least a very plausible theory about what rebuild is. Uh, so Hideaki Anno had an idea that he didn't get the chance to produce while he was still at Gainax.
Oh.
But once the rebuild movie started coming in, he started introducing elements from that idea. Because if you look at that idea, it's very similar to a lot of the stuff that ends up happening in the later portions of the rebuild series. And
It-
also, just to address Attila, Evangelion is not a convoluted story. They explain everything to you in the series, and I'm serious about that. They actually take an episode to explain the entire history behind everything that's going on and why things are the way they are, and they actually explain that. You can even looking at the two. You remember the last two episodes of Evangelion Panda, where it's like in the characters' heads and it's all weird. Like
Yeah. Like
they explain what's going on. Like in the beginning of episode 26, it just says in plain text, it is the year something something so and so. The instrumentality of mankind has begun. But there's not we don't have enough time to show the entire process. So we're going to focus on the experience of one Shinji Ikari. Like that's the exact thing they say at the beginning, not the exact thing, but that's what they say at the beginning of episode 26, literally in plain text. Evangelion is actually really straightforward if you pay attention.
and then there was
A lot of people
and then,
watching it don't necessarily pay attention to everything,
and then there was the
but they
and
explain it.
yeah. It, and it's one of those series you have to watch.
But then
twice.
then there's End of Evangelion, which they also explain everything.
Yeah. I was
You
actually about
really
to mention
don't
the end of
have any-
Evangelion.
Like,
Yeah.
they really don't everybody's tried to convince me that Evangelion is this mindfuck of an animated series. It really is not. They explain everything.
All
You just
right.
have to pay attention.
All right. I think you got one more, and then that's it.
What did I put the rebuild movies at a B tier, did I?
Yeah, you put it at a beat too. I will.
Rebuild.
I will accept that because they did kind of went off the fucking rails.
All right. Let me take a look.
This guy is gonna look.
Because I've got like I've seen so much anime and I'm
And you're cursed with the knowledge, so
it's like analysis paralysis. It's like It's like I don't know which one to pick.
Oh my god, that's why I'm like,
Okay, I got one.
okay,
I
go.
got one. I don't know if we're gonna battle on this, but I'm gonna put Gundam Build Fighters as at an
You at a what tier?
S tier.
I agree that
And the
Gundam build.
reason why
Okay, reason why?
it's Gundam finally pretending it's not a toy commercial. Gundam's finally stopped pretending it's not a toy. It's not a toy commercial, and it's such a fun series. It's so like it's Gundam battles like we're all used to, but it's all a fun game. It's all lighthearted. You have like you end up with the rivalries and all that.
And it
It's
seemed
portrayed as such like it's like if you were 7 years old and you were like or like 12 or something and you were competing with your friends to see who's best at the video game. Like it's that kind of childlike, just straight up fun in a
uh
Gundam anime with Gundam model. And like and like stop trying to pretend that it's not a toy commercial.
your logic is I'm like, and all,
Like Gundam was always a toy commercial.
yeah,
Now
yeah,
they're just no longer pretending.
yeah, like
They're just saying,
Transformers.
hey, here's a bunch of toys. They're really cool.
Transformers, same thing. It was the series was essentially fucking sell the toys.
Basically, every single mecha anime that's like, for the most part, that's ever come out has been a toy commercial on some level. Some more than others, but Gundam has always been a toy commercial. Build Fighters is just now we're gonna lean into that, and it it was so successful. It did so well. It spun off like an entire different branch of Gundam to where like you have every Gundam that comes out is like battles and war and conflict. And then Gundam Build Fighters came out and it's like it's a game. And
Like, there's no war crimes
then
here.
then it's
We're not
like
committing
they
war
did
crimes,
Gundam
Carbo.
Breaker and then
Yeah, Gundam. It was
Gundam Build Divers,
It
and
was
like
it was the
it just
kickoff start. Yeah,
split off. Technically, and this is me being a nerd, but technically it was Model Suit Gunpla Builders Beginning G that started that, but nobody talks about that one. It was Build Fighters that
uh,
really started that off and really matured the whole concept.
logic sound. But White Wolf is like, okay, where's all these anime series, Fairy Tail, Full Metal, Brotherhood, SAO, Death Note. What about One Piece? We're just putting things in the pot right now, but every week, every episode, which is a bi-weekly podcast, we are just gonna keep adding about 3 to 5 episodes each into the list, basically. So, so if we don't get to discuss your favorite animes this episode, there will be chances in the later episodes of the podcast. So, I think we got like, right, yes, I totally agree. Gun and Bill Fires, awesome, playful, fantastic. One of those. Oh shit, we got to see this going up against this gun going against this model.
It was so cool.
Yeah.
You got to see like
And we got to see some meme
weird
meme stuff
fucking,
too. Like,
yeah, like nothing. There's very little that's gonna top the fucking Zaku sitting in the Zakurello's mouth in beginning G, but like it was so cool. You got to see some like really awesome custom models of different mobile suits. Like basically everything fucking Meijin Kawaguchi builds is amazing, which is why it's always called the Zaku amazing or the Confer amazing. But like you got the GM sniper that had that little like robot dog on its back that had the stealth generator. Like you got to see some genuinely cool custom shit that it's like this is like MSV. This is like Mobile Suit Variation. That's the other thing about Build Fighters is that it has stuff for like the casual, like super entry level Gundam people, but then it has stuff for like the hardcore, like neckbeard Gundam nerds,
Hmm.
like people who like seek out the art books and shit. People like
I cannot I cannot fight you
it,
because I do agree.
it's so cool.
It was a fantastic. It was like those like people who love Gundam could see unique scenarios in this
Also,
series because it's all literally about model kits and duking them
also
out.
you got to see Gundam Valhalla, where like there was that one episode where you saw all the different tragic characters from all the different Gundam anime just having fun in the pavilion, like building gunpla and shit. Like you got to see Haman Karn being happy. you got to see like you got to see like
I'm telling you, like
Bernie
Gundam.
and Christina McKenzie like hanging out like they're supposed to, not on opposite sides of a
It's the
war.
precursor for Gundam Evolution. I mean, yeah,
Yeah, all this is correct.
yeah, you're not wrong.
Like that's
Again,
the
like
thing.
it started. I think that series started off with like you had what Gundam Breakers was an actual video game,
Gundam Breakers as the video game, and then that got its own app.
and then yeah, no, I
Then you got Build Divers, and I think they're like the next. I think I saw on Annie List. I got an alert for it. They're coming out with like Gundam Build Metaverse or some shit.
oh,
I don't even know what that's gonna be.
God. Hold on, give me 1 minute. We're gonna go. I hated that I can't disagree with this thing. I'm gonna go on my Steam list right now.
It's that's exactly what it is. It's Gundam, except yeah, we're just a toy commercial. We don't have to hide that anymore.
Yeah, yeah, not even, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, here we go.
yeah,
Yeah, Gundam
yeah.
Build Metaverse, a series that oh man, a series to commemorate the 10th anniversary of the Gundam Build franchise. This is 10 years old.
Damn, I hate it. Yeah, I know. It's like again, Anubis is this take. I'm like, yeah, S
I'm
tier. I will
I'm
agree
right.
with S tier. But
I'm right.
okay, so I think. Do you want to do one more? I think we're good to go. We gotta throw in a shitty one at least.
Yeah, I got at least one more in me. Yeah, let's each do one more.
Okay. What's shitty anime then?
Or your go or my go?
Both. One series that you just did not like at all, that you will literally just throw it against the wall and be like,
So
done.
I can't say that I didn't like this one at all. And okay, so the series is called Divergence. I have it on my shelf. It's not
You
necessarily
have
the
it on
proudest
your,
thing I have
you
on my
have it
shelf,
on your
but I do
shelf.
have it on my shelf. I've watched it like three times. I'm not gonna say it's a good anime. It's easily D. And the only thing that keeps it above F tier is the character design, because they really do not fit the story it's trying to tell at all. So it's trying to be like this sci-fi horror series that deals with like creatures from other dimensions coming through via the apparatus that we use to travel faster than light. And it's not very good at that. But the character designs look like it's like they it's like they thought they were making a different anime when they designed the characters.
What
And
what
then someone came and told them, "Hey guys, we're trying to make a sci-fi anime, not a hentai.
what
We're not trying to make an ecchi harem series. We're trying to make like a serious sci-fi horror series." But it was like 2 weeks until the show had aired, so they couldn't redesign the characters. So if you look up what the divergency of characters look like, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when I say that these do not belong in
what's
a
the series
sci-fi
called
horror
again?
series.
What's the series?
Divergence Eve. Divergence
Uh,
Eve.
okay, what tier are you putting it in?
D.
All right, I will go off on that. I have one that I will. I didn't like it at all, and it sucks because I think they took way too many liberties with this one. Way, way, way too many liberties with this one.
All right.
I'm putting this in F tier, which is
Ooh.
yeah, I know because it's plugging in on some heartstrings here, plugging in on some heartstrings. And is my stream? Did it? Oh no, it's my
Yeah, you're
fucking.
good.
Godzilla Singular Point. I did not like it at all.
I haven't seen this one.
It is it's a 2D animation series. Well, it
Hmm.
has 3D elements in it. Let's face it.
Right.
But I just, for one, I hated the design of Godzilla. Absolutely fucking hated the design. Actually, like personally, like yeah, it's the Netflix. Yeah, it's the Netflix series.
Oh, it's Netflix. Okay.
I didn't like it. Characters weren't strong. Story was weak. It
Guys,
was
I was talking about never trust like Blizzard again. Never ever trust Netflix with
as
ever.
I grew up loving Godzilla because my dad grew up loving Godzilla. So I have a certain expectation when it comes to Godzilla. Now, granted, there were some animes out there that had a Godzilla legitimately in the anime with full fucking like like a love letter. Like they did it justified. Which
I'm pretty
was
sure Godzilla shows up somewhere in the Daicon 4 anime,
yeah, it showed, but it was
along
that
with like everything else.
it was that Train Wars anime where it had everyone in it, legitimately everyone, including Shinji from Evangelion.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm looking at the Godzilla design from Singular Point, and he looks like Barney. I'm not even. It looks like Barney the dinosaur.
It is not like the whole story was just so fucking weird too because it was like this mutation of this thing. They like again it. I feel like they took too much fucking liberties with this. Again, it's just I know
That's
Godzilla.
always the.
I
That's
know
always the.
Godzilla is Godzilla cannot be a serious. Godzilla can cannot. It can have very serious tones, but it can't be serious. You always have like this expectation of a
Right.
Godzilla movie. This was whack. This was way too fucking wacky even for me. Way
It's
too.
always a gamble when you take liberties with the source material.
Like
Like Kyoto Animation can do that when they adapt light novels because they're Kyoto Animation.
like
And there's a kind of a different expectation from them. But for the most part, when people are trying to adapt source material, they, if you deviate from it, you need to really know what you're doing. And I'm at the point right now where I don't believe anything. Like my belief isn't when I hear that something's been commissioned by Netflix, I'm like, okay.
yeah. Here we go. So there was this anime called Shinkalion the movie, the marvelous fast ALFAX that comes from the future. And it was one of those things where it literally had everyone in it. And Godzilla was in it as Snow Godzilla, but it was so fucking cool because they had everything perfect. He looked like Godzilla, just with snow on him, sounded like Godzilla, moved like Godzilla, done perfectly. Like they knew what they were doing, and they made this magnificent. Godzilla Singular Point. I cannot. This is one of those animes I refuse to even grade it higher than an F because it'll stay where it fucking deserves to be in. I will. The fucking Godzilla 3D, the other Godzilla anime movies that happened, they were at least a little bit more decent. Which was like what Planet of Monsters. It was a little bit more decent. That could go under around maybe C at best. But Singular Point, no, I honestly just can't justify it. It was that bad. I'm so I'm not even fucking sorry. I, the Godzilla fan of me is just like, oh, we're talking about this. Why? And I was rewatching it too, just to justify that. Yeah, nope, this is bad.
Yeah, like it's like you have to watch it again to see if to see if like you were just having a bad day when, when you
Yeah,
watched it,
yeah,
or if it's just
exactly.
really not very good.
Yeah, it pretty much was like,
I had to do that with Redline. I had to watch it again to see if
I couldn't justify get like I'm like it's like I need to know this is really bad. That as I remember, yep, no, it's bad. Like it just
Yeah.
no Netflix, fuck you. But other than that, I think that is it for the board list. Again, this is a bi-weekly podcast streamed on Twitch. So next week we won't have it, but the week after we will. And if you miss out, the episodes will be uploaded on my YouTube channel. So the board segment, we've listed some interesting ones, but let's go over the list real quick. S tier, Agamagi SS, Evangelion, Amagami SS, I'm sorry, Evangelion and Gundam Build Fighters. A tier, Cowboy Bebop, Tenchi Muyo, Trigun, Martian Successor, Nadesco. B tier, Great Teacher Onizuka, Evangelion Rebuild Movies. C tier, Ghost Stories. D tier, Divergence, Eve, and F tier, fucking Godzilla Singular Point. Like, seriously, hold on, let me put this in parentheses. Let me put this. Do not ever watch this shit. With 3 exclamation points. One is serious. 2 is okay. 3, he's very fucking serious. Yeah, no.
3 is like, yeah.
I am giving you fair fucking warning. And if someone comes around saying Godzilla Singular Point is one of the best Godzilla media things out there, I'm like, fuck off. Okay.
I'm gonna just say, and this is to your service, Panda. If anyone comes through trying to throw shade at the fact that Cowboy Bebop is not on the S tier, that's my fault. You can throw shade at me for that. Don't throw shade at Panda. He tried to get it on the S tier. I blocked him.
Yeah, that was a cock block. Is that the next? Yeah, it was a cock block. I will throw shit at you, Anubis. Yeah.
You throw all the shade you want. You can throw all the shade you want at me. I'm still right.
Okay, so after that, now it is time for you, the viewers out there, to ask us any questions detailing in the video game or anime area. So Attila, if you have any questions to ask us, we could happily answer, or anyone else that's watching. This is the segment where we start rounding everything up. But again, thank you all so much for coming in. And it's if you guys enjoy, hit that follow button. And the episode will be uploaded tomorrow sometime. And it won't be like this whole movie thing. It'll just be a plain picture Daikon show, and you'll just hear our voices, no music. But no, I'm not even talking about this is making me feel salty. Even talking about this, Anubis, is making me feel very, 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 very salty. Do you want to play Gundam Evolution just so I can not hate myself any longer?
I don't know. I might hate myself after playing some Gundam Evolution.
Why? Why? We are playing the one thing that we can all enjoy.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong after the whole Overwatch thing.
Oh yeah, that too. Oh, you know what I could throw in for next week?
What's that?
We could do a little Gundam stuff. Looking G Gundam.
G Gundam. You're not gonna find a whole lot of like C tier and lower Gundam.
No, well, there is the one Gundam that's F tier, and it's a live action, but we don't talk about it ever again.
G Savior.
But
I haven't seen G Savior. I don't know if you've seen G Savior.
I've seen it, and I have it on my hard drive. It is bad.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you the same question that I asked you before when you were talking about playing Tekken. Why?
I just want to see how bad it was.
Just
so I can tell you don't. And the reason why I have it is just so I could show they like Gundam. They never made it bad. They never made bad
homie.
Media.
I watched like I watched Flowers of Evil, and I stopped at episode 8. Like I didn't make it all the way through.